I am compelled to make an address today on the topic of the change of taxi colors. I know everybody is screaming, everybody is uncertain. There are others who are attacking. The weaver birds are on the top of trees and they are screaming. I am not going to reverse the decision. Let me be absolutely clear. I will not reverse the decision. One of the things I will not do is to undermine a decision with good intent. I provide some leadership guidance. We have calculated the cost of changing a taxi color, possibly around 40,000. And the forces have insisted on blue and white. And I have spoken with them clearly to give the option. A taxi can be painted white, it can be painted blue. You can also paint blue and white. It's an act of resistance. And I know many people are like worried. Yeah, that is, it's too much. The enemy is going to pound on our people.
They want find me go pass. It make me laugh, and at the same time, I want share my experience. The very one, my moto na blue. It get blue and yellow. You know, say already very today, councilman non treating me concerning blue. Say the moto, the blue. I mainly I know the year, but we already know thing we want talk and I know side we want go. So my brother, my head don't be banana true. Me then ready wear the blue and white moon, then you match for back the follow as you talk, because once you come out of voop, forget. You not get two questions. No man of ever ask you any question. The next thing I said, they go spray you. They already spray coffee farm with bullet. You understand? So that one not be question. You never ask some man say wait it will happen or wait today. Now the answer that way go just follow you come. So it's not easy. More just see how way they go. We need so lot of wisdom for approach the battle way there for front, because if not be so, people go die, and when they don't die. So I beg my brother, more take care for your life. It's not easy. You will come out outside so now will find chop. More no nengo will find chop no come back. It will be a very painful and sad story. And my own small idea or my own opinion, this one I get, and we don't already meet up me. Wait time now for reach. So if white be hard enough for my moto, how I go day? That means
bro, number plate, I still repeat up, number plate with color are two different things. My man, so my head no be banana when they cut away, bro. Bro, you go really paint blue and white for your motor. The face na which road? For work for who side? You remember about in those days that blue and white paper, empty wrapping paper where they be selling 50, the paper they town. Paper don't turn contraband na ya motor you go come on. Pa me will call spade a spade. If the very issue for this issue for color it arise, we no get no other option than for park all motor for down, because no man no fit sacrifice his life for the commodity they go face military post where you don't go point motor. You go for go paint am from spray man. From that spray man come on now for which road so they work reach for play where you go park. No, they at least they check the thing fine, my man. So motor they way they run for road for Santa Road here. Last week, some Pinin boy. Last week, the motor get na blue, white, with some kind odd color them for his skin. He get around 4 colors. When they communicate with just come out about that very issue, they detain book them for that motor for my one until now we go there. Go see what way they do for that place before they leave. And the boy go for it 2 times. He go blood panja go back. They tell say don't go paint that color where the boy they don't talk. Of which he get plenty color them for that motor. Some Corolla sang. we get bad. Yeah, my man. May we check the thing very well. If the boy they want talk and say, may people then paint that everything they go. Bro, made the boy and two made the wear that uniform. Made the wear that blue or white. Then they come out, they do their patrol checkup. We go follow them for back.
You have a choice. Staying home for 60 days a year, or spending 365 days a year in jail, or spending eternity in a grave. Make a choice which one you will elect to take. Let us calculate the impact, the cost of this reckless colonial ban on bike riders on the population, psychological cost, financial cost. It's not only an attack on an essential element of our economy, it's an attack on our people. And we cannot, in 2024, allow these barbarians to attack any sector of our community without our responding. And we have vowed, I know, and I have addressed these many times, liberation struggles imposes a cost on those fighting for liberation. That's a fact. It's not a revolution to overthrow a government where the cost is spread across and can be higher on sectors or on governmental sectors. In liberation struggle, you intend to liberate the land. It imposes cost on those fighting to liberate. And we will escalate. Our reaction banning taxis from or motorable vehicles from 6, we will shut down Mezam indefinitely. We will cut food going into their territory. And going forward, we will divert traffic straight into Momo, down Manu, down to Meme. We will escalate. That I can assure you. We will escalate. We can't take these shenanigans anymore. And we must be prepared. Wherever you are, I am compelled to make an address today on the topic of the change of taxi colors. I know everybody is screaming. Everybody is uncertain. There are others who are attacking. The weaver birds are on the top of trees and they are screaming. I am not going to reverse the decision. Let me be absolutely clear. I will not reverse the decision. One of the things I will not do is to undermine a decision with good intent. I provide some leadership guidance. We have calculated the cost of changing a taxi color, possibly around 40,000. And the forces have insisted on blue and white. And I have spoken with them clearly to give the option. A taxi can be painted white, it can be painted blue. You can also paint blue and white. It's an act of resistance. And I know many people are like worried. Yeah, that is, it's too much. The enemy is going to pound on our people. I will also call on our people to avoid taking any cap that has a yellow color. You don't want to be caught in the crossfire because it's going to happen. And you should avoid boarding any taxi that has yellow color. Those who change their color are taking a stand. They are taking a stand against Cameroon. We will alter the face of Ambazonia as we have done with number plates. We have done with community schools. We have done with liberation tax. We know the enemy has infiltrated Bamenda with a lot of bike riders who are monitoring our forces. All individuals who are having the yellow color taxi, I advise you to follow the instructions given by the forces. As I have said, between now and October, there will be actions that will keep you at home. Between now and the General Assembly of the United Nations, there will be actions that will shine the limelight on the pain of our people. As the Norwegian Refugee Council stated a few days back, our struggle, the conflict has been neglected, and we will do everything to make sure that it finds its place on the corridors of power where they can help our people find justice. You have a choice: staying home for 60 days a year, or spending 365 days a year in jail, or spending eternity in a grave. Make a choice which one you will elect to take.
Country people them. This one, it will shock a lot of the so-called Amazonians because they not be informed. But now some fantastic news this way we need for know, my fellow black legs them.
C'est une nouvelle victoire pour la diplomatie camerounaise. L'ancien premier ministre du Cameroun de 2009 à 2019, Philemon Yang, a été désigné candidat à la présidence de la 79e session de l'Assemblée générale des Nations unies qui se tiendra en septembre 2024. Le choix a été opéré au sein du comité des candidatures de l'Union africaine le 14 février 2024.
So, when I go for Google, when I type Philemon Yang, now the spelling for a name that on the screen for now, and then when I search him, it will bring a profile. And then when I just scroll down a little bit, when I go see this link, the reason why they show now because the Amber terrorists, as stupid as they be, they don't ever believe the truth, they only believe in lies. So when I go download this document, it then now for the United Nations, their website. When I see at the website that now the link that un.org, now PDF document. When I open them, download them and then read them for yourself. So when I download the document, when I open them, now the document this way it will load. Now the breaking news this way, the Amber terrorists, they don't know where it go catch them by surprise. And I will explain for now how important this news it be. So now the heading that this document come on from United Nations, their website, ma read that for now. It say, this is the biography of the President of the 79th United Nations General Assembly. Okay? What does this one mean? It means, say, the 79th session of the United Nations, the 79th session of the United Nations, now the President is. So, there is no contest because the African continent, it be provide now only one candidate. What it means, say, all the 50-something countries then for Africa, where they be part of the United Nations, they come together and they present not only one candidate for be the president of the 79th session of the United Nations. So all the African states, they agree. South Africa be come up with a candidate. Some other country be come up with a candidate. Cameroon be come up with a candidate. Now all the African countries, them amongst them, they vote their candidate and they select a candidate from Cameroon, His Excellency Philemon Yang, the former Prime Minister of Cameroon. So the African continent present not only one candidate for being their candidate for the 79th session of the General Assembly for United Nations for be the president. And because it will be now Africa you turn for head the session of the United Nations, it means there was no contest. So automatically, His Excellency Philemon Yang, on the 10th of September 2024, he could become the President of the General Assembly. So now biography this algorithm for now. And then I go can explain what we mean for our fight against Ambazonia terrorism. They say Ambassador Philemon Yang is a seasoned diplomat with a track record of experience. Internally, he served as Prime Minister, head of government from 2009 to 2019. In this capacity, he represented the head of state at various important high-level regional and international meetings. He has held other important government positions, including the Vice Minister of Territorial Administration from 1975 to 1979, Minister of Mines and Energy, Minister Deputy Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic. Since 2020, he has been serving as the Grand Chancellor of the National Order at the Presidency of the Republic. Internally, Mr. Philemon Yang served as Cameroon's High Commissioner to Canada from 1984 to 2004. During 14 years, he doubled as Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. He has led Cameroonian delegations to high-level economic summits in Washington, D.C., London, New Delhi, and several other capitals. At the African level, he took part in various sessions of the African Union, Conference of Heads of States and Government, including the Summit of the Institutional Reform of the African Union. He has held the position of chairperson of the panel of eminent Africans of the African Union since February 2020. So now the statement that from the United Nations official website. Now I will explain for now why it be important for our fight against Ambazonia terrorism.
And I want to make una understand, say, for the whole African continent, for select a Cameroonian, Anglophone Cameroonian, during this Ambazonia terrorism, they select the Anglophone Cameroonian for be their only candidate for head the United Nations General Assembly. And that candidate will be accepted by the whole diplomatic corps around the world. Now, an endorsement of the Cameroon government itself, the whole international diplomatic corps from Eurasia to the Americas, North and South, the African continent, to the whole of Europe, they agree unanimously, say they support and they endorse the Cameroonian diplomatic mission to the United Nations. Now, an endorsement, say the Cameroon government, it be one, legitimate, two, they are great people doing great things, and we endorse them by giving them this big, huge position of leadership. So the president of the General Assembly of the United Nations, it been a 1 year term. It starts from September 1 year to September the next, where it means from the 10th of September 2024 till September 2025, the person where it go head, where it could be the president of the United Nations General Assembly, it could be a Cameroonian, the former Prime Minister, Philemon Yang, where it means all the agenda for United Nations General Assembly, it could go through your table. It could decide which item it be important for bring them for General Assembly discussion, vote, and all of those things that the powers that way it get them. Now, I don't already tell una before when I be talk about the Green Tree Agreement, I be explain for una the main organs of the United Nations, including the International Court of Justice, the UN Secretariat, Economic and Social Council, and all of those other ones. Them. Many people, they know the United Nations Secretary General because they hold the office for long. But personally, actually get more powers now the president of the General Assembly. And I go explain that for una. When I look at the Security Council right now, it be dysfunctional. Why? Because of the power dynamic in the world. You get the permanent members of the Security Council, like Russia and the USA, they fight amongst themselves. And because they both get a veto power, they will stop any vote in the Security Council. It don't make the Security Council it be stagnant, where it means that nothing enough process in the Security Council.
For example, the war where Israel launched against the Palestinians, if they want to vote anything for act against Israel or for act in that conflict, the United States it go veto them, it go stop them. The war where Russia get them against Ukraine, if the United Nations Security Council they want for act for that war, Russia it go veto them. So there is a stalemate, and the Security Council it be stagnant, it be impotent, enough it work, enough it function. So now any resolution, any action where the United Nations it want to take them globally right now, including security matters, it happen now for the floor of the General Assembly. Because the General Assembly, no person no get veto power. All man for General Assembly, it get now only one vote. And all the 190 something countries, I think now 193 countries, the way they've been now permanent or seated members of the United Nations, all of them, they get one vote at the General Assembly. Whereas for Security Council, you get 5 permanent members and non-permanent members. And they vote on security issues. As I don't already explain for now, the whole of the Security Council, it be stagnant and it be impotent. They not fit do any work because anything where they want for vote on, one of the permanent members it go vote against. And if any of the permanent member it vote against, and then that resolution becomes null and void, because now the veto power that way, the permanent members, they get them. So now everything, any action where the United Nations want to take them, it go now through the General Assembly where all countries get now one vote. The whole of the United States get now one vote. Cameroon get one vote. Canada get one vote. Ethiopia get one vote, and so on and so on. So now the president or the presidency, the office of the president of the General Assembly becomes even more important, because all global affairs, including global security, it happen now for General Assembly. The UN Secretariat, now the chief executive officer, where it execute where the General Assembly a task ye for doam. So you get Antonio Guterres when the Secretary General, it wait on instructions from the General Assembly for act. If it take a resolution where it come out from the General Assembly and then it go execute them, because now you job that. So when the General Assembly don't shut down the vote, they talk say, okay, we don't pass a resolution, say the UN go get peacekeeping mission for Chad. Then now they go task the Secretary General for put a team together for implement that resolution. But now who the first bring the resolution to the table, now who the vote on the resolution? Not the General Assembly. Just like resolution 1608, where we always talk about the independence, about the 1st of October 1961 and all of those things, terminating the contract or the trusteeship agreement between the British and the United Nations. That resolution 1608, it be happening for the General Assembly. So now the General Assembly, they do most of the work of the United Nations. Once they get a resolution for day, then they pass them on to the Secretariat, the United Nations Secretary General, for execute them. It is just execute what way the General Assembly it tell you for do them. So you see and say the powers for the United Nations General Assembly, the president, it get more powers. It be even more important in this context than the UN Secretary General, because the UN Secretary General they just do what the president of the General Assembly ask you for doing. So when it comes to this Ambazonia madness for Cameroon, the onset of the Anglophone crisis for 2016, the Prime Minister Ebibina, His Excellency Philemon Yang, the same person where he would sit as the president of the 79th session of the UN General Assembly. No person, no day in the world where if it lecture Philemon Yang on the Anglophone crisis. No one, no day. Now you go instead tell them where to be Anglophone crisis. Now the Prime Minister, this way President Paul Biya, he be tasked ye, send me for Bamenda for go negotiate with the so-called consortium with the lawyers and teachers time where they still strike for 2016-17. But when he reached on the ground, he realized that these people were disingenuous. They don't already get their ulterior motives, their intention all along now for cause agitation and then ask for federation or separation, which is not what the teachers are. Who mandate una? You are not elected officials. You don't represent the whole Anglophone community. Anyway, so when the Prime Minister Philemon Yang, if we go down to Bamenda, when I don't see that video, as a matter of fact, I go play the video, make una watch and remind ourselves about what will be happen for 2016, 2017. When I listen.
Businesses will not open, taxis, Benz again, nobody will work, schools will not open, parents should not send their kids to school.
By Monday, we will know whether Yaoundé controls Anglophone Cameroon or we control our country, because they are doling out huge sums of money that people won't be able to go to. The issues that we have raised are community issues and everybody has an interest. That's why everybody is coming on board, putting their own contributions. After Monday, we will think of what else to do that will bring this government down on its knees, if by Monday we don't see them crawling and creeping.
So now the level of the arrogance of the so-called lawyers and teachers, now in that, they talk say, by Monday, if Cameroon government no crawl. Okay, beside that, that was stupidity and ignorance. Now not them there for Kondengi, they cry. But then again, they asked for it. So the Prime Minister become down for Bamenda, for can dialogue, negotiate, appease these people the way they will strike. But when the Prime Minister come, it discovers it so they don't get no strike, no legitimate grievances about lawyers and teachers, about civil law and all of those things and the so-called Anglo-Saxon education, whatever they will talk. That one be just been a front for an SCNC agenda where they don't get them, an agenda of separatism, of secession, an agenda of treason. So when the Prime Minister, because for example, when I go hold meeting with them today, when I make a way forward. So everything where they will complain about, the Prime Minister talks, okay, we will do this, we will rectify them. The Prime Minister, about 90 to 99% of everything where the Anglophones will complain about, the Prime Minister take notice of it and tell them, say, they will make changes, things will happen. Now the Anglophones, these people, they go down, they talk, say, now they like say this government, it be too soft, they go capitulate. So make we increase our demand. It go now from asking for the grievances of the lawyers and teachers to start asking for federation. Prime Minister tell and say, first of all, me, I've been an appointed somebody, I not be elected, I not get a mandate. I only represent the government which is put in place by the president. The president not give me no mandate, and nor do I have the powers for change the constitution of the country. That is only done by the legislative branch. I mean the parliamentarians and all of those things, they go legislate them, and then the executive branch, when the president, they go sign them. Because what we want to demand for, I cannot guarantee, I cannot even do it. I don't have the powers to change the constitution of the country. I don't have the powers. So now the things say, because the government will capitulate, the government will give them everything where they want them, they just start, they come up with this arrogance. They talk about how Cameroon go crawl. They just say they overget power. Because first of all, I need to understand, say, Anglophones, they don't always want to challenge the Cameroon government militarily. They don't always want to carry guns. For teach Paul Biya a lesson, they have always wanted to do that. So this was their opportunity. They saw it as an opportunity now for teach Paul Biya a lesson. So now for them, now a Prime Minister realizing, say, these people are not serious. They not be willing for negotiate. They not be willing for dialogue on the grievances, the way they claim, say they get them. So every time they put a target, the Prime Minister want hit the target, they want come towards the target, they go shift the goal. So they were a moving target, keep shifting the goal. So one time when they talk, say, okay, we not get enough Anglophone teachers, or we not get enough lawyers, or they send Francophone teachers for our school, or this and that. Prime Minister say, okay, we will fix them. We will do that. And then the next day when I want to come for the conference, they shift the goal. The next day they start talking and say, so we want a federation. What has federation got to do with the fact, say, when our teachers the complaint, say, maybe when our salary not be good enough or whatever? What has that got to do with federation? What has that got to do with when I start talking about separation and all of those things? So Prime Minister, leave them, go for Yaoundé, compile a report, put down for the president a desk. Tell him, say, those people are not serious. They are secessionists. They don't get no interest. They are not even, they don't even see themselves as Cameroonians. They don't get them no interest for it's nothing. This is just a guise. There's nothing about Anglophone or lawyers and teachers, whatever. They crispy for them. So now for them now, these people were rounded up, all of them, Agbobala them. When I see Tassan wait for them, they ground them all up, throw them for prison. That's what happened. So for bring them back to the consequences to the Anglophone, to the Ambazonian so-called nonsense what they talk about.